Welcome back to Suitcase Divas, guys. We are in episode 2 of season 3, and today we are going to be talking to a very special guest, my beautiful co-host, Denise D. Today we are going to be talking about some bucket list travel, okay? So she had an opportunity to check off a very special item off her bucket list. She went on a girls' trip with some college friends down over to Napa Valley. So we are so excited to be able to ask her some questions, get some details, hear the tea, see what wineries were the best, and just hear some amazing tips and tricks about group travel. So welcome in, Denise.
This is so weird. I'm not used to being interviewed, but I'm here for it. So what I will say is, yes, this Napa trip, and I had my mimosa. This Napa trip was amazing. It was a bucket list. It had been 15 years in the making with my college best friends. So yes, we just got back from Napa and Sonoma, and I'm still trying to process the beauty. Like it's almost like we planned so long for it and it happened that I'm still kind of in like the whole, oh God, this happened phase. But I was there for it. We had a like as classic, nothing goes to schedule. We all are coming from all over. We have friends coming from New York, from Florida, from Georgia, the three of us in North Carolina. So that made up our six.
Wow.
We
Okay.
flew into San Francisco. It's a lovely airport, a beautiful, and then the trip to Napa went along. But what I will say is this is why I'm saying nothing goes to plan. I won't say who was sick, but one of our friends right in the beginning was sick. And
Oh no.
so we're taking off for a 5.5 hour flight from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And, the ears popping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was like a head cold, I'm guessing, some kind of virus or head cold. And so we were concerned about our friend the whole time. And then we're like, this is not ideal timing because you planned for this trip for so long.
Right.
And then you're like, and then who's going to sleep with her? Because we,
That's
we
a
all
big
kind of
concern. Yes.
we all kind of take turns. Like when we first started going on girls' trips together, it's like, let's all just draw straws because it doesn't seem fair to pick who's going with who.
Right.
But this many trips in, we had people who haven't really roomed with each other. So we all kind of planned, you get this person, you get this person. And we all love each other. So it doesn't matter who you get with. But it was just like, I'm glad I didn't have the sickie.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's absolutely fair, especially when you're traveling in a group and everything. So, I mean, hopefully, did they get better throughout the trip? I hope the trip
Yeah,
wasn't
they
miserable.
absolutely did get better. And we took turns sleeping on the couch. And by we, I don't mean that we're French. It wasn't me, but it was some other people in my group. It worked out okay. And then towards the end of the trip, somebody else got sick and they had
Oh,
to have their
no.
own space. So on either end, a couple of the ladies missed some wineries and going out to dinner and stuff. So
Okay.
you have to be flexible when you're going into this, you plan it this long. And then we
Yeah.
talked like, do you go get a COVID test? Do you go get a flu test? We decided, nope, because we're here for it. No matter
Right.
what, there's
Right.
no, I mean, unless you want the flu, unless you want that, then
Mm-hmm.
the if you catch it in the first 48 hours, you can get this medicine. But they were
Right.
both like, nope. And we were just very cautious and it worked. And we just all looked out for each other. We made sure we had the emergency packets that were giving us immune system boosts. We were
Yes.
taking that in
Those
between.
are great.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
we were just being cautious and we're like, we're here for it. So whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we dealt with the sickness part of it.
Awesome. I mean, I love that because I'll be honest, if I was taking my bucket list trip, I would have to be very, very deathly sick to make it like not happen. I would have done the same thing. Be like, no, there's no need. I'm here. It's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and you book these in advance and you don't really know, you really have some of them are 24 hours, some of them are 48 hours, and you don't know what their cancellation fee is. So,
Right.
I mean, when they didn't make it to the winery, they still paid for it because they couldn't cancel it in time for.
Right.
So that is that. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, it was still amazing, and we did flex around that. So, but
Good.
no trip is it's always got to be something, right?
There's always something, always. But and speaking of, now I know that some of your friends might not have been able to make all of the wineries, but now obviously Napa is known for that. So tell us a little bit about the wineries there. What were your favorites? What were some
So
highlights?
it's so hard when we went to plan this. It's so hard to plan what ones you're actually going to go to, and you go through word of mouth and people that have been in there before you and stuff like that. So I will say, kind of breaking it down day by day. Our first whole day was getting there because we're all coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, so it takes a hot minute to get there.
Yeah.
But on the second day, we went to Gloria Ferrer, which is sparkling. They're known for their sparkling wines. And
Ooh,
it
okay.
was top notch. And I will say, if you have a friend that is a part of their group list, then you kind of get some inside extra tastings, all of that.
Mm.
So I will say, Victor was amazing. He's so funny. He was just telling us, like, really, we learned so much about where they are, how the grapes are, how they make the wine on the Blanc de Blanc, how they peel the skins off. Like, it was very educational. So it's just funny to be getting schooled in wine while you're getting tipsy also.
That's
So,
kind of great though, right?
yeah,
Why
and
you drink?
we could not have asked for better weather. So when we got there, when we arrived, it was 96 degrees, the hottest day in San Francisco that they'd had all summer. But luckily,
Wow.
it then it dipped by, I want to say the next day the high was maybe 75. So that's a
Okay.
huge difference. And
That is.
we had our wraps, and it was overcast, and but it was nice. We had this whole beautiful tasting area outside, overlooking the grapevines, and it was just amazing. The wine, it's all sparkling wine. So if you like champagne, but you can't call it champagne unless it's a certain region of France.
Nope.
So
Exactly.
it's sparkling wine is what we had, but
Okay.
it was amazing. And we did buy a couple to go bottles to bring back to, we had an Airbnb in downtown Napa. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous little place, walking distance to everywhere, hot tub in the back. Guess who found it? Anywho,
Always.
yeah, if you need a travel agent. But yeah, it was amazing. So, so fun. So that was our first one. And then we went to another one, and I'm not even going to say their name, but it was like polar opposite, not our taste in wine. Everything there was beautiful. There was no winery that we went to that were like, this is like, why are we even here? Like, if you're looking at the view, the rolling hills, it's way different than North Carolina. We have so
Right.
much lush greenery. It's very dry out there in California. And I guess maybe because they
Yes.
don't
Yes, it
get a
is.
lot of rain, but it was very dry, a lot of rocky, rolling hills is what we
Mhm.
saw, but still beautiful and
Yeah,
still worth seeing, absolutely.
absolutely.
And then, so the next day we had the Golden Haven Spa, which we did the mud bath. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little something about the
Yes.
mud
Tell
bath.
us about this mud bath.
We did the BFF mud bath. And
Okay.
what I will say is, if you don't like being naked in front of people, this is probably not your jam. And and I knew it would be because I'm not I'm not a naked person in front of people. That's just
Okay.
not my jam. And so for me, it was not a little, it was very outside my comfort zone. Let me have a little smidge of drink here before we
And
proceed.
that's okay. And I will just take this quick second to comment like that's okay, right? If you're not necessarily comfortable with your friends or if you are, right? It's about what makes you happy.
Right. So, and I'm all about lately challenging myself because this was outside my comfort zone, but this is something I'm starting to work on, is facing my fears. And so I couldn't have asked for a better group of gals to do that with. They were all so supportive. They definitely all were definitely more okay with being naked. So literally you get on a pair of disposable little black panties,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go into this room and you get into the mud bath, and it smells, the mud smells. I'm just telling you that. just giving
Like
you straight
stinky?
up.
Is it like a sulfur? Is it like a
Not like a sulfur,
natural
not like rotten eggs, almost more like manure, like stinky. I felt a couple times.
fertilizer?
I'm not gonna lie, like it's
Oh,
a mud bath, but it's supposed to be
nice.
amazing for your body.
Okay.
And they did this volcanic face mask that they paint on you, and that made my skin very tight, and it was beautiful.
Okay.
But the experience, so you're in the mud bath for about 15, 20 minutes, then you go into a mineral bath. Again, but after you get out of the mud bath, you literally have to kind of roll out of there and then get into a shower and get naked with three other girls. Just saying, I'm just laying it out there for you.
A lot of nakedness happening.
There's a lot of nakedness. You see parts of your friends that you wouldn't necessarily see per se. And I mean, it is what it is. And then I chose to wear panties and a top into the mineral spring. Some people went commando, some people did variations of that, and that's fine. But, and then you go into a, then you do that for like 15 minutes, and then you go into a cool room where then you have to get, you guessed it, naked again. And then you're in this lemongrass scented room with your friends, listen to ambient music and,
Well,
and
it
just
smells
be
better.
better than the, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. It was an experience. It was an experience.
Okay.
Yes, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Now, I know you said like you loved how it made your face feel. What about the mud bath on your body?
So after I rinsed off,
Yeah.
my skin did feel good, but
Okay.
when you're in that mud bath, you really have to kind of fling the mud up on you to because it's so dense that you're on top of it. So your tatas out and you kind of shimmying down.
You're
You're trying
just
to
slinging mud
slop
around.
mud on top of you and trying to get a little lower in. And then they put the cool compress on you and you get the spring water and all that good stuff. We'll try to put some pictures in there. Not of the tatas.
No nakedness in the pictures, just the
No, we're
bath.
gonna be we're
Okay.
gonna be PG. That's for Suitcase Divas After
Just
Dark. We'll talk about that another time.
absolutely. Of course.
But
Absolutely.
and then we went on to Schramsberg, which was another sparkling wine place.
Okay.
Amazing. They turn over millions of bottles, and we did the cave tour. It was an
Mm.
experience. I mean, it was an amazing experience. We learned so much. Lisa was so just this really down to earth, chill. And she had a northern, I thought she kind of had a northern accent. She was really
Okay.
cool. Anyway, we had a great time at Schramsberg. The amount of actual bottles they turn over is astounding. And when we were in the tasting room, you could hear the workers that she's like, this is 40 deep, meaning 40 bottles deep in. And she's like, well, you can
Wow.
hear them because they're down to unstacking the last two rows. This is what's ready now. So that was an experience in
Wow.
itself. And then we were down in a cave having this tasting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an amazing experience. The next day we had reservations at the Prisoner Wine. That was amazing. So that one came with our own private tasting, and then they had like a bento
Ooh.
box, and they had like
Nice.
papaya salad, and then like Brussels sprouts in the summer. I guess a vinaigrette.
Okay.
Then there was like a spring roll, and then there was some kind of tzatziki. It was some kind of chicken sandwich, but we'll put a picture in there. It looked fabulous. It tasted fabulous. And the
Sounds
overall
amazing.
experience, the good thing about being in the wine club, our friend Dara had been there before. And so she was the one that had the wine club experiences. And so whenever you're in the wine club, they give you all these extra samples of all these like
Ooh.
really high bottles of wine, hoping being like, okay, you either want to buy one or you're going to join
Right.
the wine club.
Right.
Because some of them you can't even buy, they're not open to the public. You can only buy them if you're in the wine club. So that's something to
Oh,
note too.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Interesting.
Schramsberg was amazing. Prisoner was amazing. Then we went on to Domaine Carneros. That looked like a Spanish, kind of like just a big castle. And we were overlooking Napa Valley. It was the most gorgeous views. I think that was one of my favorite views. And we were sitting
Wow.
outside. The weather was so gorgeous. We were sitting outside. Fast forward the next day, Del Dotto, by far my favorite.
Okay.
That one is where they had this thing called the wine thief that it looked kind of phallic. It's like this big glass. We joked, we called it Del Dildo. But not everybody's supposed to say that. I can because you know me. Anywho, it's this big wine flute that you dip down into the barrels to get the tasting, and it's called a wine thief. So you dip this big glass dildo down into the barrel, and then you get a sample. And we're again down in a cave. Gorgeous, gorgeous, most beautiful. And Jeff, our I'm gonna call him our sommelier because he was very knowledgeable, took us
Hmm.
around, and that came with pizza. They have a oven pizza, and
Ooh.
he took us to
Oh,
this private room where we got to sample pizza
those
after we
fries
had
so
that.
amazing.
It was that was by far my first favorite tasting. And then we went on to Jarvis, and I'll make that one real quick. Oh, but at Del Dotto, don't call it Del Dildo. That is
It's like
that's our
stuck in my
ancestors.
head and I'm gonna giggle every time I hear it. Now I'm really gonna have to unlearn that.
Listen, I have the pen. I've got the pen. Do you see Del Dotto? Del Dotto.
I hope I spell the name right when I write it out. Okay. Please double check the description, guys. Make sure I spelled
But
it
it was so beautiful. And then we went on to Jarvis. But what I will say, going back to Del Dotto, is when we pulled up, it's just like this black iron gate that you're heading up the mountain. And we're like, are they closed? Like, so we get out, we say, hello, we're here for the reservation. And these big black gates open up.
Oh,
It was
wow.
amazing. It was like an epic, epic experience. Nothing like it. I would definitely, if you go to Napa, you definitely got to go to Del Dotto and ask for Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff Crabtree is actually his last name.
And make sure to do the wine thief experience. Okay. That's where it's at, guys. The wine
And
thief.
the pizza tasting was very fun too.
Pizza.
And then Jarvis, another gorgeous, gorgeous. It's definitely more of an upscale vineyard. You're gonna pay
Hmm.
more for tasting, but the
Okay.
grounds were amazing. The wine was amazing. Overall, amazing experience. They say don't fit too many into a day. We tried to shoot for two a day. And
Okay.
I think that was on point. It was a lot. We didn't get a lot of sleep, but we had a lot of fun. So
Hey, it was a bucket list vacation, right? So it sounds like you guys definitely checked off some things. And that's amazing. So I do want to ask real quick. I know you'd mentioned about joining the wine clubs with the different wineries. And with all the extra tastings and perks, would you say that that's like something you would suggest, or at least like, hey, if you're interested in this, take a look because it's probably worth it?
yes, I would say if you're not if you have certain ones that you want to go to, like Gloria Ferrer,
Hmm.
Dar was part of the wine club, and we absolutely benefited from that. We got extra tastings. I mean, some of these are $250 bottle of wine that they're just letting you taste because you're part
Nice.
of this exclusive club.
Okay.
And we also got some of the bottles were $100 bottles of sparkling wine, and we got it for $50 because they gave us like a half off deal. So we brought two of those home to have in Napa, which we
Yeah.
very much enjoyed. We had mimosa sparkling wine in the morning the next day, and it was unbelievable. It was so good. So I would say definitely if you like sparkling wine, I would become a wine club member before you even go to Gloria Ferrer because you can cancel after
That's
like
true.
one shipment. So, I mean,
Mhm.
even if you sign up for it, you get the special benefits. Another one, the prisoner, we got so many perks. Cynthia was amazing. And her little assistant, I love her, gave my business card because she is going to Bar Harbor, has been to, I'm going to call her Bar Harbor. She's been
Hmm.
there and wants to go back. So
Nice.
I'd be happy to help her out with whatever she wants to see up in Maine. But yeah, absolutely. It was so, so amazing. If and I would do Del Dotto too. If you're not a wine club member of that, get in there. You know, I am, you want to be part of the wine thief experience for sure.
Yes, yes, that definitely sounds like Quite the experience. Absolutely. So, through all that, now I do have a question. I know you visited quite a few wineries. Was there anything that, because, I am just a little nosy, a little curious, and I do love wine. Was there anything like interesting either about the tasting process or about the making of it process that either stuck out to you? And actually, I do have a question. One thing I'm always curious about, when they taste the wine and they're sipping it and they spit it out into that bowl, did you have to do that or did you actually get to like drink all of the wine?
So those are all excellent questions, Jackie.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just kind of dumped it on you a little bit, but let us
Yeah.
know.
So to go back to, it was really, really, I was so impressed with Schramsberg, just how huge their cave was and how many and how many
I'm
stacks of wine deep
listening.
it was. We're going to continue. Let's proceed. And
Okay.
and Lisa was so knowledgeable, and she actually showed us that because they have them all stacked on the side, and you can see the yeast level, and she shined a light because it's dark down there. And they actually have a process where they lay it on the side and they let the yeast settle. And then they have a process where they actually pull the yeast out, and then that just has the cork, and that gives the wine a certain taste. Like their methods and their process. And then they
Hmm.
have something, a spinner board, where you do it like clockwise this way and then counterclockwise that way. And there's a guy that can do like 400 in a minute. It's insane. We didn't get to see him, but the way he spins bottles, he just knows how to do it. He's been doing it for decades.
400 bottles in a minute. And that's
It's
like
in the
physically
way he
twisting
spins
just
them.
a
He
little
just goes
bit.
up. He just goes down and does it like that.
We need a video. We gotta go back.
I know.
Yes.
Like, well, listen, if I need a reason to go back, you don't have to ask me twice. But
Okay.
I mean, just the process of the way they talked about Schramsberg and the multitude of millions of bottles that they turn over. And so the other thing I learned is the average wine sits for the consumers, it's aged about 2 to 3 years. That's what the average wine is. Then you start getting into your reserves. Those are going to be aged more like 7 to 10 years. And that's why you're paying
Okay.
more per bottle, because they've aged and they're worth more and they taste better.
Hmm.
So that was part of the process, as being part of the wine club, was getting to taste some of those reserves and getting to know, like, okay, let's extend your palate and see, can you taste the difference between the consumer and the reserves? And you absolutely can.
Ah,
But
okay.
it depends on the weather and what went into those bottles. Every bottle that they make in any of these wineries can all turn out different. So you might like a certain blend that's a reserve, or you might like the 2 to 3 year one, depending on what went into
Hmm.
that year's development. So
Yeah.
what I learned was the expensive bottles don't always yield the best taste results for me personally.
Right.
But that's what these tastings are for. And
Hmm.
I mean, that's why the whole process to me is amazing. And I would love to own a winery. I mean, if it's in
Oh,
my cards, I would love to own a winery one day,
yes.
because I just love the process. I love everything, the notes. I love to talk about the weather. If you're in a valley, and I've
Hmm.
been to so many tastings and I've learned so much throughout my life. It's just the whole process to me is amazing.
I love that. I love that. Well, when you get your vineyard, I'll be right there next to you,
Yes.
helping out, and everyone's invited to come and
Yes.
tasting. We're gonna have to get what is it? We're gonna get a wine thief. We're gonna have to get a wine thief.
Oh, yes.
Our
We will
vineyard.
have a wine thief in our hands.
Absolutely for the vineyard. Okay. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing about all those wineries with us and about your experience and everything. So, I mean, that just sounds absolutely incredible. Sounds like you guys definitely got to check off some things on your
Yes.
bucket list. Now, just because, we are travel agents, we are in the travel industry, I'm just curious. Now, you said you were traveling with five other people, so there's a group of six of you. There was some sickness on the trip. You guys were out at wineries doing dinner, all that. So, what were the dynamics like all throughout the week with all of you guys?
Yeah, well, so it was interesting because on the first day we were missing one of our tribe because of sickness. On the last day we were missing one of our tribe because of sickness. But we kind
Mhm.
of all ebbed and flow. And because we've gone on so many trips, we knew that there were a few things that we need to just all be on the same board about, on the same page about, which was I eat like a bird and they are foodies. So we had to have a plan of what we were going to do for restaurants out, meals out.
Right.
I don't know if you heard about this recently, but there was this group of ladies that they just put in a bank account and everybody puts in and then you just pay out what you want. So the foodies of the
Okay.
group, which was four of them, they all kind of did that. They paid in a little bit every month and they knew they had this budget that they wanted to stay within. Then there was
Nice.
two of us that were just on our own, and I was the bird eater. And then our other friend just doesn't like to per se share meals. Like they want to have what they want to have and they just like, you know what I mean? So
Our own stuff. Yeah.
and then the foodies, they're all about let's split all kinds of appetizers and let's
Taste
fit
everything.
kind of like family meal group and then
Yeah.
let's order a bunch of desserts. And I don't do any of that. Like I eat I eat a little bit and then that's it. So it was interesting, and normally I would have said we would have done Splitwise because that's an app. It's a free app, and I would encourage anybody that is going on a group trip to check that out. But because we already kind of had a plan in place, and because we already have traveled together, and they know that Denise is on her own, but it actually worked out great. And I know you shouldn't probably bring a lot of cash, but what I did do is I brought a lot of cash for like tips for wineries. If I like a couple of times Terry and I went in on a bill and I would just give her cash or I would put it on my card and she would give me cash.
Right.
So it ended up being great because I was able to pay a lot of my trip, just give cash for a lot of what we needed because
Right.
you are going to need to tip. I mean, if people go above and beyond, you do need to tip your people that are giving you the tastings. If you're at the spa, the people that are doing that, so you do want to have some cash on hand to do that.
Right.
So that's how we work that out.
Nice.
But it's good going into it knowing that you're going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, like, monies can always just kind of be one of those topics, and it can just be uncomfortable for some people to make that decision at the dinner table. So, it's awesome that you guys planned ahead and that you guys know each other, right? Like, I know you guys are friends from college, so you've known each other for a while, but you guys know, like, hey, we're gonna go and eat at this buffet, and those two got it, and she's good, and
But we
everyone's
learned this
fine.
because there were some uncomfortable trips where it's like,
Okay.
you owe us this for food. And I'm like, I didn't eat any of that food. But I will still give you money.
Right.
I didn't eat any of that food. So
Okay.
we went into it knowing that we've traveled together and we went into it knowing that we want to make everybody was allowed to do what they wanted to do. Like some people hung
Mhm.
back at the house and then we got up bright and early, put on our sneakers and headed down because our Airbnb was walkable to downtown Napa.
Oh,
Not a lot
nice.
of stuff was open at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. They're very chillax and laid back
Okay.
in Napa. Some places opened at 9, some places opened at 11. So some of us went out and did the walkabout. Some of us stayed back. And then, like, same with the hot tub. We had a hot tub in our backyard. Not everybody wanted to get in the hot tub, and some people
Yeah.
did. So we just made it very like, do what you want to do. Make it,
Yeah.
So I think at this far in 20 years plus, actually 30
Mhm.
years, not that
Wow.
I'm not old. I mean, we met each
Not
other
at all.
very long ago, very young. We were very young when we met. But yeah, just knowing your tribe really helps going into a group trip like that. And
Yeah.
we wanted it to be what everybody wanted their bucket list trip to be, and that's what it was. And it was fabulous.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and I love that you mentioned that, you guys have been friends for, a little bit of time, I guess we'll say, and you guys do know each other very well. So, and I guess, can I ask, how long have you guys been planning this? Like, when did this, Napa trip kind of idea come about?
I mean, honestly, between 10 to 15 years we've been planning this because
Oh,
we wanted to all go together. And I think this is how life happens because life happens. There were some things where somebody got unexpectedly pregnant or somebody
that
had
happens.
whatever happens, somebody lost somebody and couldn't do it. Somebody didn't have the finances. And we just kept waiting till it was the perfect time, until everybody could be on board, because we didn't want it to be the five of us. We always,
Right.
or the four of us. Like, we've done trips where this person can't go or this person can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little, it's sad. But so when we knew that this was a bucket list, we're like, no, everybody has to come. We have
Yeah.
to all be together. And the stars aligned that 2025 was our time to go. And yeah, I want to say it's just magical. It just really, everything aligned. Because if I had taken this trip 10 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have known what I know about wine. I would not be as mature as I am about being willing to do things that are out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
really do feel like this is the time that it all aligned.
I love that. I love that. And that's so awesome and amazing that you guys had that connection and
Yeah.
everything. You guys, have that friendship. I think that's absolutely wonderful. So even being on the trip, was there any like college nostalgia or anything? I mean, with you guys planning this for so long, was there anything like that, or did it kind of remind you guys of like when you guys met
Oh,
or anything?
anytime we're together, we laugh and tee and we Nicole's all about the silly games, or if you had to do this or you had to do that.
Okay.
But a lot of it was just sitting out and hanging out in the beautiful lanai out in the back. The weather, like I said, was gorgeous. But just sitting around and having a coffee or having a mimosa. Again, one person can do one thing, one person can do another. We
Yeah,
don't judge. As you know, California is a legal zone, so some people may or may not have partook
it
in
is.
that auction. So it was just that we were just all there together, and we just, yes, laughing about guys that somebody dated, or and being 20 years into a marriage is challenging. So
Right.
just being there for each other, talking about what's going on in our marriage, or how I feel
Mhm.
about this, or what your kids are doing, or maybe we talked about so many things, and having a support system there for you like that.
Yeah.
Even if it took 10 or 15 years, I would go back and do it again tomorrow, because these
Yeah.
ladies know. And we also made a pact to do a monthly Zoom, because we're like, we don't talk to each other enough.
Yeah.
And let's make this a priority, because our friendship is a priority. The support
Hmm.
system is a support system.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that just made us realize that we need each other more in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's awesome. And I love that because, at any stage in life, really, it's always good to have, like you said, your tribe, your friends, your support
Yes.
system. I definitely always encourage people. I'm like, find your people, find those people in your life, even if you haven't talked to them, even if it's, every so often or once every couple of months. So I love that you guys are going to be connecting in the future.
Yes.
I think that's
Right.
going to be amazing. So with this, you did your whole group trip, you checked off all your bucket list items, and it sounds like it was an incredible experience,
It
which
really
we
was.
are definitely gonna have to go back and revisit because there's some things I'm a little curious about, I have some questions. But through this, what are some practical tips or tricks? I know you've mentioned a few apps and stuff that we can just kind of tell our listeners when they're traveling with the group.
Yeah, so I would absolutely recommend Splitwise. If you haven't checked out that app, if you guys really are all going into it kind of being like, and you might not have a big group of six like we did. I would say making reservations 6 months to a year out. Really,
Hmm.
6 months.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a year out, because they won't do it that far out, but
Hmm.
researching where you want to go and making those reservations, because, like Dar said, she couldn't get into the prisoner wine because she didn't make a reservation. She knew it was one of the wineries she really liked, but they're
Right.
like, I'm sorry, we can't make room for you. Like, these people reserved 6 months ago. You can't just walk in here. So just know
Right.
that it's one of those places, kind of like Disney, kind of like those places. Like, you have to have a reservation 6 months
Hmm.
plus out if you want to be able to get into the really, really good places, which I feel like most of our places were really good.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, the one that I didn't mention, I'm not going to mention because it got good reviews, but it really, none of us, we were all
Mm.
like, And we didn't get good attention either.
Okay.
And that was the one day it was sprinkling and it was an outside tasting and they didn't even put up the
Ooh,
umbrella for us. So we're just like,
it's
what's going
uncomfortable,
on here? Like,
right?
this is a hell no.
Oh my goodness.
But we don't want to let one bad apple ruin the batch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or I should say
very
grape.
true.
A grape.
Yes, there you go. One bad grape ruin the bottle. We don't want that to happen.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and I will share my one little takeaway everywhere I go is I always get a Christmas ornament. So I got this little beauty. For
Oh,
those that are you going to watch YouTube, it says Napa Valley and it looks like a bottle of wine. And I am going to cricket it and put 2025 on it, girls trip. But
that is so cute.
that's always my takeaway because I know some people. Oh, and we also did, I don't think I have it on, but oh, yes, I do. We all also got a piece of jewelry, like a bracelet. Mine's kind of like a little blingy, kind of pink wine tone. Some of us got necklaces and all that good stuff. But the most interesting thing I will say that I saw on my trek to downtown Napa was when we were
Hmm.
getting ready to go to dinner one night, there was actually a guy with a baby cow walking down Main Street Napa taking
A
pictures with
baby
people.
cow.
A baby cow. He was so cute.
Oh.
That's the oddest thing I saw. But and I would say September is absolutely a magical time because it's
Hmm.
not super packed. I think July and August, Napa is packed.
Okay.
September, it's kind of considered their off season, and we went late
Ah,
September, but
yeah.
there was still so much to see. It wasn't as busy. The weather was beautiful. I would definitely recommend mid to late September to go visit Napa for sure.
Okay. Well, good to know. Good to know. And
Those are
thank you
my
so
tips
much.
and tricks.
I love that. No, I love all the tips and tricks. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And yeah, absolutely sounds like you guys had an amazing time. And I'm so glad that you guys got to go. I know that you were talking about this trip for a while and leading up to it. And you guys, I mean, I only heard about it for, a few months. You guys have been waiting for quite some time to
Yes.
take this trip. So I think it's amazing that you guys did it and everything. So yeah, so listeners and everything, if you guys are thinking of a girls' trip, planning a group trip, take some of these tips, okay? Make sure that we plan it out. Make sure we know who the introverts are, who the non-foodies are, okay? If we have health concerns, just, things happen. Kind of like you said, right? We grab your emergency, make sure you have, your allergy medication. So I know even like I can't imagine going from like the East Coast to the West Coast. I did it once when I was like 15, but that's such a climate change for some people. So yeah, always good to be ready.
Yeah. three
But
hour time difference for sure. You get a little jet lagged when
that
you,
too.
yeah.
That too. I always forget about that. I'm like, what time is it? Wait a minute.
No,
That'll
the first
always
couple of
throw you
days it
off.
was like hard to catch up with a family because their day was already done when we're just starting our day.
Right.
We're like, okay, okay.
And you're like, good
Even
morning. They're like, good afternoon.
the first night we got there, literally we had 8:30 p.m. dinner reservations on Pacific Coast time, which means we got up at like 4 a.m. We had gone all day. We had gone the other side
Oh,
of the
poor
country,
guys.
and then we didn't have dinner reservations till 8 p.m., which meant it was really more like 11.
11:30 for you
Yeah,
guys. Your bodies are like,
11:30. And then we stayed up till 1 p.m. And so really that was like 3 a.m. our time. And then we had to get up by like 7 a.m. and we were out walking
yeah.
in Napa. So it was like it was a thing. But it was magical. I would not trade it for the world. And I would do this trip again tomorrow.
Awesome. Awesome. That is wonderful. And I love that. Well, thank you so, so much, Denise, for sharing about your trip and all your tips and everything. And to all the listeners out there, I'm going to ask you what trip is on your bucket list and who are you going to take with you? Okay. And if you
Yeah.
have someone in mind and a destination, go text them and tell them, even if it's not for the next 10 years, it gives you plenty of time to plan. Okay. Yep, take your time, do it right. Okay, make it the best experience you possibly can. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 2 of season 3. We are Suitcase Divas with Jackie G and Denise D, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.